Ooh, the Shepherd. So I'm gonna just start calling you Jay the Shepherd instead of Jay the Republican because that's what your Twitter handle is.
All right.
Uh,
Well, we're speaking of that Twitter handle.
yeah,
If you are watching this, I don't care if you're watching it on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, wherever. Like, share, and subscribe. You see it at the bottom of the screen. When you subscribe to YouTube and you subscribe to Rumble, that doesn't mean you have to pay money to do that. It
that's
doesn't
right.
mean you're committed to anything long term, but it lets you know that you believe in some of the things we're speaking of. And I just want to mention now that we're back on. If you're still watching, if I haven't scared you off and you were expecting a more informative and more exciting show with Robert Chernin, and you're still here, well, thank you. And if
Yes.
you're sick of me already, one of the things you can do is go to YouTube, go to Rumble, make sure you subscribe, and go back and watch some of the shows where Robert was actually on with Eric. So, so there's an opportunity for you to, really make a difference and learn some things that have happened in the past, because some of these old shows with the two of you on it are really informative. They're
Yeah.
really great. They get into the nitty gritty of subjects. We'll just, with me, you get a little surface thing. Somebody once said, you're an inch deep and a mile wide. You've had people on your show that actually have some depth of knowledge, and people can actually learn something.
Okay, you guys, don't let Jay lie to you, acting like that is not even true. That is not even true. In fact, go back and watch the episodes where we have Jay on as a guest, because you're great. We love you over here.
Well, I'm going to define myself a little bit if we have a moment to do that.
Oh, yeah, go for it. Do it.
I am a Republican National Committeeman for Vermont. I've spoken at a couple of national conventions, and everybody looks at me, and I used to be known as Jay the Republican, and Ericka still calls me that. And everyone will say, well, you're a Republican, so you believe in, all these different things. Well, I want to clarify how that really works. The fact is that I am very pro-life, and that's why I'm a Republican. I believe in religious liberty. Therefore, I'm a Republican. I'm not a Republican, and then I have to believe in some of these other things. It's because of what we believe in and what our core values are that makes us a Republican. We believe in a strong defense, that we're protecting our country. We believe in the fact that we need small government. We talked a little bit about the Bill of Rights and protecting us from the government. That's what makes us a Republican. It's not that we believe in these things because we were part of a culture club. Who's the singer for Culture Club?
Boy George.
Boy George. I am not Boy George. I don't belong to the culture because I want to be popular and I want to be. Try being, first of all, being a Republican in Vermont that goes to church every Sunday. We are a small minority of people out there.
Yeah.
We also want to talk about regulated immigration. And we believe that. That's why we're Republicans.
Strong borders.
Well.
Yep.
Strong borders. We believe in the Constitution, the right to bear arms. And it bothers me these days when we hear people talk about, oh, well, you're MAGA, or you're a rhino, or you're all of those things. There's a fundamental belief, and I just went over some of those things that makes us part of the Republican Party. It's based on our beliefs and who we are. So it's really important that when we talk about the fact that we're Republicans, we talk about why we're Republicans, because you cannot be pro-life and be in the Democrat Party. These days, you can't even believe in regulated immigration.
Well, and that's
where their party.
We're so divided now, and it's everyone has a purity test, and Republicans are guilty of it too, right? You even yourself just now said, you're MAGA, you're Rhino. Like, we get those are used as insults from our own party, and so I think it's important what you just said, because I oftentimes will say I'm a Republican or claim Republican or conservative. But those words almost are meaningless anymore because of because of the way politics are. So I love what you just did. You said, I believe in this, this, and this. And generally speaking, it's at least the Republican Party platform enumerates all the things that I think are important. Now, whether or not every Republican and every committee actually does what they should or what they say they believe, that's another story.
Yes. And we have to take a look at the depth behind that. And one of the things that I'd like to wake up one morning and know that it's my day to decide who's a rhino and who's not. We see people coming into the party. They've been here for a week and they're deciding who's a rhino and who's not. Yeah. I hear people all the time, talking about, well, this person it's not MAGA, so it can't be a Republican, or this person, is for this policy or that person. We've got a fight going on in Virginia right now over one of the congressional candidates, Bob Good, who's been a solid Freedom Caucus Republican. And we have people saying you're not pure enough because you supported DeSantis in the primary.
Oh, my God.
So we've got all this infighting going on. If we don't come together, Bob Good is a great congressman. And we've got primaries going on all across this country within the Republican Party. And we've got outsiders coming in and defining who's a Republican, who's not, what's a MAGA, what's a rhino, all of those kind of things. And I want to state it very clearly right now. If you believe in the fundamental values that are in our platform of the Republican Party, take a look at it. It's online. You are a Republican. Are you going to agree in the exact wording of each of those items? No. But the fact is that the worst Republican in office in this country is better than the best Democrat in this country. And we need to wake up and we need to talk about that a little bit more than we have. So let's get behind Republicans. Let's not divide. Let's not criticize. And we've got too much animosity and too much anger going on towards fellow Republicans. Let's get over it.
That's what, Jay, it's so funny you said that. You just made me think in our most recent Generally Irritable episode, we were talking about the line in the Bible. Was it John? Now I'm trying to, 13. I'm totally messing up the scripture.
You do know that us Catholics don't follow these numbers as much as other faiths do, because
here's the deal. Whatever it says they will know you by how you love each other. And I'm paraphrasing. Basically, Christ said, or it was communicated, that the world will know who the Christians are by how we treat each other. And I feel like that really needs to be translated into conservative politics, because how are we gonna convince the 80% of this country that consider themselves independents? I think it's something like the largest voting bloc in this country is independents. Okay. So if we're going to convince the largest voting bloc to vote for us, and we're out there running around insulting our own team, calling people names, like anybody who talks bad about Ron DeSantis, unfollow me. And I'm saying that, I don't even care. You can unfollow me, unsubscribe. Don't ever listen to me again. Because if you are going to go out there and demean and degrade the most effective governor in this country because of Donald Trump or something, like, just lose my number. You're not on the team. You are not on the team. And you don't care about winning. And you don't care about this country. You care more about your feelings than you do about getting things done. I don't have time for you.
You're absolutely right. And we need to come together. We need to understand the principles of what ASIC, your ad that you just showed with ASIC, and talking about the evils of socialism. And that is where the Democrats are bringing us. And, I wrote down some notes, a little bit of notes about what the Biden AOC, the left followers believe. Okay. I mean, like right now on Easter Sunday, they believe more in the Easter Bunny and not the resurrection. They believe in the Tooth Fairy, but they don't believe in parental rights. Okay? They think it's okay to take a child's life, but they don't believe in the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
And even crazier, they believe that socialism, if it's done right, will work.
Yeah.
So because humans, in this fantasy world of, Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny,
we can remake socialism. Man. Yeah, I mean, to me, Jay, socialism is on par with the Tooth Fairy and the Easter Bunny, because this idea that you can remake man, that we're somehow gonna not be buttholes, selfish, self-interested, psychopathic, fill in the blank. because suddenly we're all just going to get along and cooperate. I mean, that is, I was going to say a word I'm not allowed to say on, I will get canceled for. But I mean, there is no time in history. You have no evidence, right? We're supposed to trust the science. There's no evidence that that's even possible. What are they thinking?
It's absolutely ridiculous. And going back to the fact that we are doing personal assassinations of our own people that agree with us on 90% of what we hold true and of value, that opening the door for others.
Yep.
Lord Benjamin is making some good points in terms of, we're kicking people out of the party.
Yeah.
I mean, a high-level person in the Trump administration talked about Bob Good and said, when we're done with him, he'll be non-electable.
Why?
Because he supported DeSantis.
Oh, that is, see, this is why. And then this is why people, get me started. Okay. Okay. Why should we elect Donald Trump if he is tearing down other Republicans, good Republicans?
All right. Before we go to break, Ericka, I'm going to tell you very simply, because in November, we have a binary choice. We can take the policies of Biden or the policies of Trump, and the policies of Trump will be what works for our country and makes us a better country.
Yeah.
The policies of Biden take us closer and closer to socialism, communism, and all the evils around the world. We are safer, both in our homes and in the world, under Donald Trump than we are under Joe Biden.
Love him or hate him.
Love him or hate him, you absolutely have no choice in this country. If you care about this country, if you care about the Constitution, if you care about your way of life continuing and what's going to happen to your children and grandchildren, it's a binary choice. Don't tell me you're going to write somebody else in because they have no chance of winning. Don't tell me you're going to vote for RFK, who is trying to live
lefty.
Totally living on someone else's name that maybe accomplished something 60 years ago, but he has no accomplishments of his own. And we need to move on from those people that think they can do better than what our Constitution and what natural law is for this country.
That's right.
So I'm saying it very, very clear to people. You have a binary choice.
Yeah.
Okay?
Wait, you're not allowed to say, no, are you sure there's not? It's not like 40 options for president, like there's 40 options for my gender. Are you sure? We can't, you don't want to alienate people, Jay, by saying things like binary.
I don't even know what the word gender means. Okay? You're a male or a female, that is your sex. Okay? Get over it. All right? If you're not sure what you are, look in your underwear. The decision is already been made for you. Get over it. So
speaking of not knowing what your gender is, I would love to hear your thoughts on the Transgender Day of Visibility over at the White House on Sunday.
Well, I think, the whole conflict there is, I think I'm going to get in a lot of trouble for this.
Yeah.
I don't know what transgender visibility is, because most of the time when I see somebody who's transgender, it's visible to me what they are and who they are. I think it's really important that we love our neighbor and we care about them. And we have to make sure that when we look at someone, we understand the struggles that they are going through.
That's right.
And the things that have made life difficult for them. But for President Biden to come out and basically denigrate the most important day in our culture as Christians, Easter, and denigrate it by making us spend time talking about something that is not about Jesus and the resurrection is really despicable for me and for my understanding. So that's a quick rundown on that. So I can't hear you any longer, Ericka.
I'm muted because I coughed. I muted myself. We've got the proclamation.
No, wait a minute. Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
When your husband does he have a mute button for you, or does he, you control your own mute button?
I control my own mute button. Why? Can you mute me when you're producing? You can? Yeah, he can mute me.
I was thinking more in real life, like at home, if there's some type of.
Oh yeah, no. Occasionally, when I'm all wee-weed up, as Obama would say, when I'm all wee-weed up and I'm getting out of hand, Benjamin will look at me and he goes, "Shut up! Could you just stop talking? Could you?" I know when he does that, like I'm in trouble. Like that's when I go, "Oh, I'm okay. I gotta chill out. I'm probably being the butthole right now."
He's a much braver man than I am. Where I live, I don't think in 37 years I've ever said that. And if I have, I paid the price for it.
Oh, no, I definitely deserve it. I need a big, strong man who will tell me to shut up because y'all, if you've watched the show long enough, you know that I will go smooth off. And it's actually really helped me. Believe it or not, it's helped me not learn when I'm overstepping my bounds and when I personally am getting out of control emotionally. Because for me, this is totally off the topic. I'm sorry. I'm sure this isn't where you wanted to go with this, but we as human beings are selfish and self-interested, right? That's a lot of what we've been talking about today. And it is so easy for any of us to go off the rails, to be lost, to be confused, to be hurt, to be emotional, right? In when someone dies or something goes wrong. And you know what we can't have those people in charge of? The government. Like, we don't need a bunch of Joe Bidens who can't think clearly, who can't make decisions. We don't need a bunch of AOCs who, are on the floor of Congress being like, I have feelings. We need reasonable and sane people.
Yes.
Elected to government.
One of the points that's really hurtful in this country right now is the fact that a lot of the congressional districts are gerrymandered, that it's winning the primary becomes the most important thing, that there are only, 30-something House seats that are up every year that are in districts, swing districts. And what happens is that you'll see a Twitter world out there, and you'll see people, it's all about number of clicks. It's all about the amount of money that you can raise by having a great one-liner. Speaking of that, if you do like this show, it's okay to send money in. I don't know if you have an address, Ericka, but if we've ever said anything wonderful, I mean, we take a look at someone who's very good at it, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, she's a great fundraiser.
And she's a great fundraiser. She went after Mike Johnson and wants to get rid of him.
Yep.
And it was designed to raise money. So if you can think of something great that I can say right now where people can actually send in money, I've got grandchildren that, want to go to college and all of that. So, find me on Twitter, let me know that you're going to ask me for my address and you can send cash. They say don't send cash in the mail, but it's okay if it's for me.
Hey, you know what? Why not?